Hi, I'm Dylan. I'm the guy who created ABP. Most full suspension bikes have an inherent drawback. The rear suspension actually firms up under braking. Who wants a bike that only works when you're off the brakes? But bikes with ABP are different. Active braking pivot lets your suspension work whether you're braking, pedaling, or coasting. ABP is active suspension all the time. Let's take a look at how the other guys do it. When designing rear suspension, you place a variety of pivots in different locations to let the wheel move up and down. Some people put the rear pivot above the axle, others put it below the axle. Unfortunately, the shock doesn't move freely under braking. Simply put, the braking forces actually cause the system to resist absorbing bumps. This means you end up skipping over the top of the bumps instead of tracking over them. And then there's ABP. Instead of putting the pivot above or below, we place the pivot in line with the axle. This placement is ideal because it lets the suspension function whether you're braking, pedaling, or coasting. Brakes on or off, the suspension moves up and down smoothly, absorbing all the bumps all the time. This makes your suspension more effective and makes your brakes work better too. So you can ride harder, brake later, and stay in control. The rear pivot and the wheel axle, all in line as a single unit. It doesn't require any special wheel, and it's 30% stiffer than any open dropout design. Watch as the single track gets choppy. The rider starts braking through the bumps, and the suspension stays completely active, absorbing every impact. Let's see that again. Watch his wheel. His brakes are engaged, and yet the wheel is still moving freely. Without ABP, he'd be skipping around. The suspension remains active and is able to absorb the impact. More control, better feel, higher cornering speed. That's the ABP difference. ABP is available on all Trek full suspension bikes. To experience ABP, test ride any Trek full suspension mountain bike at your local Trek dealer. Or to learn more, go to trekbikes.com.